Hello everyone and welcome back to another MSTR chart planning update video. Just remember guys, everything in this video is my own personal opinion. It is not financial advice. And I always like to first get started with Bitcoin to break Bitcoin down, which will give us a better understanding on what MSTR may do. Uh, of course, putting aside their earnings, we all know that uh, their earnings call was very good, and we know that they are planning to buy much more Bitcoin. Actually, I'm sorry, it's called Strategy now, not MicroStrategy. So let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin so we can jump into MSTR. So in today's live stream, I updated a lot of these liquidity walls. We're still waiting for this imbalance to potentially be filled, but just to give you guys a better understanding so far, just if you guys are new, um, for a while now, like close to a month, roughly, actually, 2025. Oh, I'm sorry, no, over a month. For like 2 months now, 2.5 months, something like that. We've been looking at a sideways pattern. We finally saw Bitcoin just fill in a lot of, you know, Fibonacci extensions quite well. We've been seeing imbalance candles being filled quite well, and many times throughout the last handful of like weeks for the last 2 months, and we continue to move in a sideways pattern. As of right now, we are currently in the discounted portion of the overall sideways structure. So just imagine a line going right through the middle. We're in the discounted portion. We did recently see Bitcoin come down and fill pretty much almost perfectly a supportive extension area, uh, bringing it down quite a bit. Ever since then, it did come up quite well into previous imbalance, although it could have met it a bit more. I would like to see this actually break into this imbalance rectangle a bit more, the gap here, this nice little value zone. But ever since then, we came up to it very closely. We then started trading downwards. We met another imbalance area down here, found support, and then it got rejected by the declining supportive line right here. Ever since then, we continue to move in a sideways pattern. Again, this is all going to make sense in MSTR. I actually wonder if they're going to change MSTR to something different. Maybe not. I'm not sure. They did change their name, so maybe that's something they're going to work on in the future. So now, ever since moving sideways, we continue to see a support being formed right here. This is also where we see a liquidation wall. Both there's quite a few of them, but the two that stand out to me is 95,500 and at the $800 as well, just 300 above that. So this is also the first minimum requirements for the next supportive area. So it aligns with it quite well, quite just coincidentally just mixes well with its imbalance area. Also, the supportive extension area mixes well with it, and we continue to see support being held. Unfortunately, these supports are not, maximizing the RSI to the downside. So this is something we're going to look at MSTR and what the potential risk is going to be for the short term, and then where we can potentially look to find a good accumulation section within the current structure that's in for MSTR in a moment. I am very bullish on Bitcoin. If you guys saw from previous videos, I did accumulate $110,000 worth of BitU. I'm very bullish on it. I believe MSTR is also getting ready to go up, and I'm gonna get into that in a moment. And they are also, of course, continuing to be very aggressive with Bitcoin. So they're definitely not being discouraged. They are going just full out locked on Bitcoin. At least from what they said recently. So we're continuing to see support here. We can still see this area being filled. We can see this liquidity wall just get obliterated and not hold up anymore. And then we can see the price come down into this area and try to maximize this. Although I believe that, two things can happen. Either it can happen or it can not happen, and we can just start moving higher throughout the rest of February. But regardless, if we do come down here, it's gonna be very short lived. I don't think, and this is very general. I don't think a lot of traders should be trying to perfectly time dips. If your time horizon for your trades, how long you're willing to hold them, is appropriate enough, There's nothing wrong with accumulating at discounted levels, even if there may still be a little bit more downside. I don't believe there's a lot of downside, but I can be proven wrong. I do believe this is a very important moment to accumulate longs if you have not already, or if you want to add. I know I am, and I've been adding, and I showed proof of that. I think on my last video, or like the video or two ago, I showed a screenshot of that. And I do believe very, very soon, in this month, we will start trying to push these, besides obviously hitting this imbalance area, which can act as a magnet before slight consolidation and then start moving up higher. I do believe these liquidity walls will be tested this month, and then we'll start trading soon enough in this area as the next leg up before the month ends. I don't see why this is not possible. We see the structure forming quite well. We know that recoveries happen very quickly, and then that can influence a lot of mining companies to also maybe create a more sustainable structure when we start seeing the price of Bitcoin strengthen a little bit more once again. But to jump into MSTR, and again, a quick summary, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin right now. I believe that we are going to start seeing this move higher soon, and we don't really have much downside right now, and we can start moving up higher very, very soon, maybe next week, but we will see. With MSTR, so strategy, still called MicroStrategy here, but with strategy, I have not looked at this stock at all today, so I'm going to make sense of this chart with you guys, and we can go ahead and kind of see what makes sense here. So bear with me, because I'm going to be doing this. I didn't prepare for this. I want to do it in front of you guys so you kind of see how I make sense of things myself. So on the bigger picture, we've seen waves forming. We saw corrective waves. So we have a third wave overall. We're looking, so potential third wave completes for this fifth wave. I do believe the stock is going to go much higher and potentially even hit $1,000 this year. These waves need to be updated, so I'm not really going to go off of these at all much. We had the fifth wave complete, very quick fourth wave, which makes me believe that the third wave is actually here, and this is the corrective fourth wave. Usually fourth waves aren't completed that quickly, so this all needs to be restructured. Regardless of that, the current value in the stock, let's see. We had imbalance filled very well, actually. It got filled all the way to the bottom perfectly. And then it came back up. Some imbalance here, kind of messy, but still valid. It got filled. And then we started coming down. We found support much higher. Broke support, came down, and now we're seeing a sideways pattern just in Bitcoin. RSIs have not been topped out for a while now. We're seeing testing of the bottom side quite a bit. Continued sideways pattern after a corrective pullback. So we had a pretty clear, kind of messy for the second wave, but pretty good 3-wave move down. The question is, right, is this wave down filled properly, at least enough to give us confidence in what we're looking at? So let's take a look here. Oh, oops. Bear with me, guys. You can potentially go lower off of that, but it obviously got invalidated with the current sideways movement. So, okay, so the way I'm kind of seeing this chart is we did have a 3-wave correction, main requirements were hit, and mainly the extension doesn't really matter. It's not really completely valid in this one just because the imbalance held perfectly. And we started moving up higher from there, and then we started seeing sort of an uptrend. So we had a higher high from here, and then a higher low from here, higher high. Even with this lowest point, that is still a higher low. So sideways pattern, just like in Bitcoin, they're accumulating more. There's not much, I mean, there is a lot of correlation. There's not much saying that there isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and say that with Bitcoin, however it can trend throughout the rest of this weekend, I'm going to have to make an update video later this weekend, because if Bitcoin continues to comes down, and then, like, for example, Sunday night, it stays in these discounted levels, if it were to come down, we can definitely see MSTR trading at its lower boundaries here as well. So it's going to take a little bit of time to see what may happen and how we're going to kick off Monday. So until we get confirmation, I'm going to go ahead and say this, until we get confirmation, because we couldn't break up any higher. This is very shallow, and now we're starting to push down lower, so we can potentially see this liquidity wall fail, so the support fail, coming down lower, try to fill in this area a bit more to try to also maximize that RSI to the downside. So I want to see Bitcoin come down a little bit more. It makes sense. We will see how it unfolds over the weekend. So I'm going to update you guys again on Sunday about this, so we can see this do its thing, come down a little bit more, push MSTR a little bit lower within this structure. So currently, without using any fib levels or anything, because it's just a little bit too choppy, and it's not fair to start from here and try to create one, because it's going to be unfair for it. It's going to make it super low, and I don't really see MSTR coming down to there anytime soon, really. We do have plenty of support retests that we can create. We had a big wick down for Bitcoin, and it came back up. So I'm going to make another update video on this on Sunday, because it's not fair to really give my true opinion on it until we see what Bitcoin does within the next 2 days leading into Monday. So I'm going to make another update video on Sunday. As of right now, it looks like we can easily come down. This high maximized it, which makes me feel that a downtrend is still trying to play out, because the whole move down couldn't even maximize that downside either. And then we still have a lot more room within this. If we can it's just like bullish. It's just like when there's an uptrend and we slightly hit. It's happened many times. If I can show you guys a super clear one, like right here, slightly hit it. It ended up retesting it a lot deeper in. So what it can happen here as well to the downside. We had a slight retest. We had two tests, and then it kept getting rejected with the liquidity wall. It looks like this one's gonna be fading now. I don't see this liquidity wall holding too much. There we go. So we can easily see this come down over the weekend into these lower levels and try to fill it in a bit more. It's always good to be on the more extreme side, because just like back here, we tried testing it and then we ended up just fully filling it. If we have enough momentum to even test this, we definitely have enough momentum potentially building to further find support in it. And this might be in favor for anyone looking at MSTR in the eyes of trying to get a really good entry point. So this overall structure, guys, once again, I'm going to update you guys on Sunday on this stock, because I want to see what Bitcoin's going to do. I do believe Bitcoin's going to come a bit lower, and if depending where Bitcoin's at Sunday, we can potentially see this open Monday lower. And then also it can be another retest of this move down right here as well. I don't think it's going to come down much, but we definitely as of right now, looks bearish. Not enough volume to even push the stock up to this high right here. And then it continues to see dips stretching out to previous supports. So I'm bearish on this stock short term, at least over this weekend, depending on what Bitcoin does leading into Monday. Looking a little weak, and then Bitcoin can still see that further test in this. This could be rejected, and if we see this over the weekend come up higher, I can give you guys a better understanding of what the Bitcoin structure is short term, and then that'll give us a better understanding of what we can expect with MSTR in the early market next week. And then also we had a slight retest of this, so we can potentially be getting ready to push up higher. And this is why it's very important to kind of see what Bitcoin's going to do over the weekend, because if we have enough momentum, just like to the downside with Bitcoin, enough momentum to reach this area, then we potentially are also building up enough momentum to go ahead and push this and test this bullish next leg up area for this structure a lot more. This was based on previous lows that we've had, that we've been kind of tracking for a bit now. Same thing with this though. Any downside should be recovered quickly, and then soon enough we'll be trading back here. Potentially even later into February as well. It just depends on what Bitcoin does. So very short term, very bullish for the smaller picture, like not really, aggressive move down, but nothing that's gonna last too long. And then very short lived, just like in Bitcoin. Then we should be trending higher. If Bitcoin can come up here, we will see MSTR go ahead and retest previous consolidation areas within this level. And then pushing those liquidity walls on Bitcoin, we can potentially start seeing slight into this area. And then if Bitcoin can eventually come up here, like I believe it may, this month towards the end of it, then we could potentially see MSTR. Wrong stock. MSTR also trading within this area as well, which is well below the swing highs. Next leg up will reflect also the not liquidation, but the watering down of shares that they've been working on for a while. So hopefully this made sense, guys. I'm going to keep you guys updated on MSTR, the stock, Sunday, because we got to see what Bitcoin does. We got to be patient with it. So yeah, I'll catch you guys soon, and hopefully this made sense. I'll catch you guys soon, and take care.